What up, my Needlejet listeners? Long time no hear. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. This is Regina, your resident regional flight attendant. And this episode is titled The New Wave Crazy Pilot. I don't know what else to call it because there's been a lot going on I was going to say 2023, but one of the incidents actually happened in 2022, and the gentleman, I use that term lightly, was indicted last month, October 2023. So we'll get into that in a minute. And the other crazy one, we'll talk about him too, if you've been keeping up with the news. If not, I'm going to help you keep up with the news, because it is crazy in commercial aviation. I just happened to see this when I turned my phone on, because I do follow the blogs, View from the Wing, and what else is it? Paddle Your Own Canoe, and there's a couple other ones. I just can't think of it right now. Sorry about that. But I really do like both of those blogs I just named. And this comes in from aviewfromthewing.com. The article is by Gary Leff. That's Leff. And it was written on November 3rd, 2023. It's titled Major Indicator of Economic Downturn. FedEx pilots being told to leave for American Airlines. So, it goes on. FedEx pilot crews have been told that despite the national pilot shortage, they are overstaffed because air cargo demand is down and pilots are receiving minimum hours only for the most part, and they expect to remain for the foreseeable future. This is an industry-wide issue. As a result, the shipping company is telling its pilots to go work for American Airlines through one of their regional airlines. And aviation watchdog John NYC flags this issue. So John NYC says, not sure if you saw that. FedEx saying demand is down. AA will hire FedEx pilots onto PSA as captains and flow to AA. American Airlines' wholly owned regional carrier PSA has a package specifically to recruit FedEx pilots, including credit for seniority. That's interesting. A $250,000 signing bonus. And guaranteed flow to the mainline carrier. Yeah, at my regional, which I never say because I'm not a fool, but yeah, they are giving some big time packages to our pilots. I'm just interjecting here between the article. I think off the street captains for 3 years they get assigned. This is a regional airline now. They're flying the Needlejet. The Embraer 145, they're offering street captains, and what I mean by street captains is they're coming in off the street as a captain. They're not like starting as a first officer in the right seat, and then when it's time to upgrade, they can become captains. They're just hiring them straight off the street or from another airline right into the captain's seat, directly into the captain's seat. That's what I mean, street captain. Yeah, so my regional is hiring them at, I believe, I can't even breathe saying this.
A $500,000 sign-on bonus.
And I believe they have to be here a minimum of 3 years. If not 3, 5. But holy crap! What the blinkety blink blink? Oh, these bastards have got it good. But yeah, it's like no wonder a lot of people I fly with, a lot of captains, they just treat me to food and coffee and all kinds of stuff easy because they just got a whole bunch of money in their pocket just to burn, just to burn. Anyway, so it continues on. Over the summer, the FedEx pilots rejected a contract that had been negotiated by their union. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. They seen American, Delta, and United pilots being paid well and weren't happy with a 30% increase in pay. Did they miss their window? The October jobs report released today showed signs of slowdown amidst a historically significant run-up in interest rates. Not only are shipping companies like FedEx and UPS seeing slowing volumes of goods being moved, but ultra-low-cost airlines are hemorrhaging. Yeah, if inflation's kicking my ass and I gotta pay crazy ass amount of rent because there's a high demand plus inflation, food, they talk about it 7%. That's some BS, man. It's like, it feels like it's 20%. But if it's not that, it's at least, in my opinion, I feel like it's, double that, 14%. Okay? But anyways, yeah, well, if I gotta pay all these extra expenses in gas, because that's been fluctuating, my rent going up sky high, and let me tell you, people are foreclosing on their not foreclosing, I'm sorry, there's a lot of repossession stuff going up. It's expensive to carry. It's always expensive to have a car if you're middle class, working class, low middle class, poor, period. But with this inflation and like insurance rates going up and all this, it's just too much. So yeah, people are buying less. Duh. That's why you have all this theft, all this retail theft. I mean, they're putting chains around Tide detergent. It's getting out of control in this country. But anyway, and that we're being told that we just have to deal with it. Yeah, okay. So the Atlanta Fed's GDP now forecast shows estimated growth below 1%, though a range that shows it could currently be negative. Nonetheless, commercial airlines remain short of pilots in the face of early retirements taken during the pandemic. That is true. A lack of pilot hiring during that period and barriers to entry into the profession that major pilot union lobbied successfully for 15 years ago. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gary Leff, who wrote the article. He is one of the foremost experts in the field of miles, points, and frequent business travel, a topic he has covered since 2002. He's also the co-founder of Frequent Flyer Community Insider, Flyer.com, MC of Freddie Awards, I don't know what that is, and named one of the world's top travel experts by Condé Nast Traveler. Pretty impressive. So, for what we're talking about, yeah, so that's a pretty big deal about FedEx. But it makes sense because what FedEx does, they carry cargo. That's all they carry is cargo. They're not carrying around passengers. Now, the demand for flying has been high in 2023 just because the come down from the pandemic and people want to get out the house and go do whatever, despite inflation, despite this economy, despite all those things. And I believe, though, and I feel strongly that after the holidays of 2023, the major ones, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that is going to slow down, in my opinion, because the inflation, all that's going to catch up with those people. Anywho, then you may see some other changes going on in 2024. That sounds so crazy that we're going into 2024. Man, I feel old. But anyways, but I still look good. I was kidding. But anyways, let's move on to the crazy, shall we? So, this is brought to me to You by CBS News. This came out on November 1st, written by Chris Van Cleve. Okay? So it reads, former Delta co-pilot indicted for threatening to shoot captain during commercial flight, officials say. Now, keep in mind, folks, this happened a year ago. This happened in 2022. And I do not remember this. If it was ever in the news, maybe it wasn't immediately at the time. I don't know. So it reads, a former Delta co-pilot was federally indicted earlier this month, accused of threatening to shoot the captain of a commercial flight last year if he diverted the plane because a passenger on board may have been suffering a medical emergency, authorities confirmed Tuesday. According to court documents obtained by CBS News on October 18th, a Utah grand jury indicted Jonathan Dunn on one count of interference with the flight crew. And here we go on to the next crazy pilot. More crazy for you. This is coming to you from ABC News. Article is written by Amanda Maley, Clara McMichael, and Josh McGolan. McMichael, interesting. Okay, this was written on October 23rd, 2023. So it reads, an off-duty pilot is charged with 83 counts of attempted murder after he allegedly tried to shut off the engines by pulling the fire extinguisher handles on an Alaska Airlines flight, according to officials. I wonder what airplane it was. The plane was scheduled to fly from Everett, Washington to San Francisco before it diverted late Sunday to Portland after a credible security threat related to an authorized occupant in the flight deck jump seat, the airline confirmed to ABC News. The suspect allegedly tried to pull the fire extinguisher handles on the engines. Preliminary information obtained by investigators indicated, according to federal official briefed on the probe. The suspect was overwhelmed by flight crew and subdued and then handcuffed to a seat, the federal official told ABC News. The suspect, Joseph David Emerson, was taken into custody. The Port of Portland confirmed. Emerson is charged with 83 counts of attempted murder, according to the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. He is also facing 83 counts of reckless endangerment, a misdemeanor, and one felony count of endangering an aircraft. I'm looking at him right now. He looks like those quasi-humanoid aliens from Prometheus, that movie. Anyway, sorry. The suspect was en route to San Francisco where he was scheduled to be on a flight crew of a 737, the official said. Alaska Airlines said that the off-duty pilot was sitting in the flight deck jump seat, which is in the flight deck or in the cockpit, and unsuccessfully attempted to disrupt the operation of the engines. Woo, child. He was heard in the moments prior saying something similar to, "I'm not right," a federal official told ABC News. The captain and first officer quickly responded, Alaska said, adding, engine power was not lost and the crew secured the aircraft without incident. There were 80 passengers and 4 crew members on the flight, according to Alaska. Passenger Aubrey Gavello told ABC News, "We didn't know anything was happening until the flight attendant got on the loudspeaker and made an announcement that there was an emergency situation and the plane needed to land immediately. About 15 minutes later, she got back on and said that there was a medical emergency." Passenger Alex Wood said the pilot announced that there was a disturbance in the cockpit. Wow. Well, I'm trying to figure out why he would say that for security reasons, but then I'm thinking if it got out of control, you would get help from the cabin. But at that point, though, the flight deck door is locked. But if they need to get him out, look, my mind is going all over the place with this. So, anyways, Gavello said He heard the flight attendant tell the suspect, "We're going to be fine. It's okay. We'll get you off the plane." "So I really thought it was a serious medical emergency," she said. Wood added, "It was very professionally handled, very calmly, and we didn't really know what was going on until we landed." Once the plane landed, Wood said police went to the back of the plane and escorted a handcuffed man off the plane. He noted that the suspect was wearing a lanyard and a sweater, looked like an airline employee. Cavello said, "After we did land, the gentleman was escorted off, and the flight attendant got back on the speaker and said, plain and simple, he had a mental breakdown. We needed to get him off the plane immediately." The Federal Aviation Administration said in a statement to carriers that the incident is not connected in any way, shape, or form to current world events. The event is being investigated by law enforcement, the airline said. The FBI confirmed it was looking into the incident and can assure the traveling public there is no continuing threat related to this incident. You know what, folks? I'm looking at this dude. He looks familiar. I'm wondering if he used to work for us. But then again, I don't know. He just made me that guy that looks like a whole bunch of dudes. I don't know. So Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, blah, blah.
I rise today to call on Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to resign immediately.
Said in a statement, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced his last name, I probably did. "I am grateful for the professional flight crew and air traffic controllers who stepped up to guide this plane safely to Portland. FAA supports law enforcement in their response and will be focused on any safety considerations for the future that emerge from investigations." The Pilots Union Airline Pilots Association, also known as ALPA International, in a statement praised the pilots and the crew who safely landed the plane and said it's fully cooperating with authorities. As they should. The union added, "The airline pilot profession in North America is one of the most highly vetted and scrutinized careers, and for good reason. For decades, the United States has pioneered a proactive approach to improving aviation safety and maintaining a healthy work environment for pilots. In addition, U.S. pilots are continually evaluated through careers, through training, medical exams, crew resource management programs, such as line operation safety audits, as well as by the airline during random flight checks by the FAA, known as the Federal Aviation Administration." And that being said, everything in that last part that I read is absolutely true. Because as a flight attendant, I see these things. I see them get their checks. FAA shows up. They check me. They check the flight deck. They check everybody. They check the ground. They check on maintenance. They check the whole commercial aviation operation. Because it's a whole system. It's a whole work groups that work together to keep it safe. So, yeah, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. Very crazy. Hopefully I don't have to read any more of these incidents. But, who knows? We live in America.
The ghetto! The ghetto.
All right. And moving on. So, hey, you guys, do you know what skip lagging is? That's SKIP, lagging, skip lagging. You don't? You're going to find out today while listening to this podcast. So, this article comes from The Insider. And before I read this article, let me give you an idea from personal experience. So we were in, I think, Louisville, that's how you say it. Louisville, Kentucky. And boarded up the flight. I was going to the cabin doing my count, briefing the exit row. And as I turn back around, I see these two gentlemen walking off the aircraft. And I'm like, whoa, what's up? And just so you guys know, Once you're on the aircraft, you can't just get up and walk off and just go lollygagging in the jet bridge or back into the terminal. That's a serious security violation, whether you know it or not. And yeah, we're on to you with that crap. So don't do it. Talk to the crew member before you, if you've left something in the waiting area, the boarding area, or you left something in the jet bridge or something. Just don't walk off the plane like that, because yeah, it's gonna be some issues. And let me remind people, this is the 21st century. There are cameras everywhere, all through the airport. As a matter of fact, in Philadelphia during the pandemonium, that's what I'm gonna call it, because there were less traffic going through the airport because of that, they doubled up their cameras in Philadelphia International. But again, cameras are everywhere. They're in the jet bridge. They're at the beginning of the jet bridge, at the end of the jet bridge. I've seen 4 cameras at the end of the jet bridge in Charlotte, and a lot of the new ones. There's cameras all over the airport, outside on the ramp. There are cameras everywhere. And not to mention your fellow passenger or crew member, we have our own little computers in our pockets with cameras on them. Cameras are everywhere. So just watch yourself. But anywho, so I digress. I see these 2 male passengers walking off the aircraft. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? Now, come to find out, one of them was actually a passenger on the aircraft. The other male, dressed in plain clothes, was a manager, airport manager, or gate supervisor. And what had happened was, they took the gentleman off because they noticed that he did something strange when he checked his luggage in for that flight. So he had booked his flight from Louisville, Kentucky to Miami, Florida, with a connection in the middle. So he had to go, because our flight was going to Charlotte from Louisville. So he was going to go, his ticket state that he was going to go from Louisville to Charlotte and then connect in Charlotte and go to Miami. Well, he wasn't actually going to do that. He really wanted to just go to Charlotte, but he didn't want to pay them Charlotte prices. Okay? So what happened was, like, probably when he looked online, from a Louisville to Charlotte flight was probably like direct was $750 or something, right? Then he looked and saw that there was Louisville to Miami with a connection in Charlotte, and that flight was $450. Well, he just needs to get to Charlotte. So what he did was book the Louisville to Miami flight, knowing that once he got to Charlotte, he was just going to stay in Charlotte and forget about the connection to Miami, because Charlotte is where he wanted to be. So what got him caught was that when he checked in for the flight in Louisville, he told the gate agent to just check his flight to Charlotte and he would get it and recheck it, or some nonsense. Somehow he got caught that way. And that's why the supervisor, the manager, was walking him off the aircraft, because they realized he was skip lagging. That's what that is. Skip lagging. Do you get it now? Anyway, let's move on. So this article is written by Mariella Descalsota. Forgive me if I mispronounce it. So there's just some bullet points here. It just says that American Airlines had canceled the ticket of a teen who wasn't planning to fly to his final destination. We just talked about that and how that works. He planned to disembark at his layover in Charlotte, North Carolina, instead of New York City.
What did I just explain to you guys?
American said skip lagging is a violation of its terms and conditions. And here's why the airlines hate it. So it just goes on to say that the teenager was scheduled to fly from Gainesville, Florida to New York City, but he planned to disembark during the layover in Charlotte, according to the local television station Queen City News. His father, Hunter Parsons, told the outlet that he had booked the ticket using Skip Lagged, a website that shows flights with layovers that are less expensive than direct routes. We've used Skip Lag almost exclusively for the last 5 to 8 years, Parsons told Queen City News, adding that it was the first time his son traveled alone on a plane. But Parsons said that the gate agent in Florida was doubtful of his son's final destination after seeing his North Carolina driver's license. What's that got to do with anything? But anyway, the agent suspected the teenager wouldn't continue flying to New York City per the report. Because he's from North Carolina? Okay, whatever. They kind of got out of him that he was planning to disboard in Charlotte and not going to make the connecting flight, Parsons said in the report, adding that his son was taken to a security room to be questioned. Whoa. The family said that they weren't aware that skip lagging, the controversial practice of booking a flight with a layover and skipping the second leg, was provided by American Airlines and many other airlines. Skip lagging is a strategy that helps passengers save money on tickets, but this often results in lost revenue for airlines. And basically, it always gets down to money. Always gets down to money. But it is a business. Purchasing a ticket without intending to fly all flights to gain lower fares, hidden city ticketing, is a violation of American Airlines terms and conditions and is outlined in our conditions of carriage online. The airline told Queen City News in a statement, adding that it was in contact with Parsons. Parsons said that in a report that he was concerned about his son being detained and questioned by gate agents in Florida. All right, folks, so there you have it. Skip lagging is not allowed by American Airlines and probably most airlines. I can't speak for the rest of them, but here's what could happen to you. It says in January 2021, American Airlines announced that in a memo it would begin cracking down on skip lagging. And in recent years, it has hesitated to punish passengers caught skip lagging their final destinations. In August 2020, a passenger said they were charged $2,500 for skip lagging 52 times on American Airlines flights. 52 times. Wow. 4 months prior, another passenger said he was kicked out of the airline's frequent flyer program for skip lagging on 95 flights. Parsons did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Holy crap. So it's not illegal in the sense that like you're going to jail or I think the FAA is going to fine you, but the airline might. And they detained this young man for questioning somewhere. I don't know if security was involved in that or they just went back and talked to a manager. But like I said, on my flight, it was a gate manager that came on board and asked him to come off because that gentleman got busted for trying to skip lag. But they're probably putting a lot of pressure on these managers and stuff to like look at these destinations, and because it's probably going on a lot, and it's gonna probably happen even more with the economy the way it is in the United States with the inflation, not just here in the United States, but other westernized countries. I don't know what's going on in Asia and, Latin America, South America, that is the West. I don't know what's going on in South America, but definitely, more specifically for me, what I've been seeing with TikToks and stuff, English-speaking westernized countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, of course, the United States, and so forth. Oh, and the UK, of course, yes. So, yeah, you're probably going to see more people trying to skip lag, but it looks like at least American is on to it, and they're going to try to catch you. So, there you have it, folks. Try not to skip lag. I understand why you might do it, but try not to, because they are trying to catch folks. And like I said, I have experienced that. Like, it wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was this year. Very early spring, they caught this dude on my flight. So, there you have it. Take care of yourselves. Try not to stress and fly safe. Thanks for listening.